I'm pledging $500K from my tour to Planned Parenthood and abortion funds. I just got off the phone with Live Nation, and they agreed to match my pledge, therefore making it $1 million for Planned Parenthood and abortion funds. If you want to help and take action, go to LizzoLovesYou.com to find a way to sign the Bands Off Our Body petition and also find out ways to volunteer. This is just the beginning of the action that I hope to take to help people have safe planning for families and on their bodies.
I serve the king.
Wakanda has survived for so long by fighting when only absolutely necessary.
It was taken by British soldiers in Benin, but it's from Wakanda, and it's made out of vibranium.
How many times do I have to teach you? Just because something works doesn't mean that it cannot be improved.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and thank you for joining us for Get Into It with Tez and Chris.
Hey everybody, we're back after a brief hiatus.
Well, because I was sick and they knocked my power. The storm knocked my power out last week. That wasn't fun.
They sure did. Yep.
You know what? You know what? Before we get into it, coming from WSYR TV, it pains to tell me that Mary Mara, who worked in Hollywood for nearly 35 years, drowned in the St. Lawrence River Sunday, according to the New York State Police. If you are an avid fan of any of the subsidiaries of Law and Order, then you recognize this woman. Please keep her family and friends in your prayers. Hold on, I got another quick update. Coming from the Associated Press, R. Kelly sentenced to 30 years in sex trafficking case. Disgraced R&B singer Robert Kelly was sentenced Wednesday to 30 years in prison for using his fame to sexually abuse young fans, including some who were just children, in a systemic scheme that went on for decades. Through tears and anger, several of Kelly's accusers told a court in New York and the singer himself that he had mislaid and preyed upon them. So, in 24 hours,
Yes.
The top sex traffickers will not be getting out of prison until they're well into their 80s. I'm talking about Ghislaine Maxwell that we talked about last night, and now Robert Kelly, because, you know.
Well, the thing with the Kelly announcement and all that, yes, there were a lot of young girls in there, but there were women too that were affected by this. So it's not just the young girls.
Well, they're women now.
No, I mean at the time. You know, his
Yeah,
ex.
they're women now.
Yeah.
They weren't of age back then.
No, his ex wife.
Oh, she knew what was going on. Why do you think he kept paying her until he was broke?
Well, there's still those that are out there saying that they're gonna. We just want to keep on playing his music, and we're not, you know, and that's what we heard along the way during all of this.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
People were devoted to his music and just kind of put some blinders.
Well, not only that, and then there are the people that are like, well, you don't know all the artists that he wrote for. Those people pay for those songs outright.
Yeah.
He makes money off of the songs he sings, he wrote, and he produced. That's why he's broke now. Stop supporting him. It would be if somebody came in and murdered your relative or traumatized them to the point where they have to live with PTSD. They can't even sleep through the night. They can't even welcome a pat on the shoulder without freaking out. Would you be so willing to go, you know what? They're the best plumber in town. So,
Right.
No, you wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But, hold on. We have a bit more breaking news. Pay attention to this video, y'all. Breaking news.
Breaking news. A team searching in the basement of a Mississippi courthouse found an unserved warrant. A warrant from 1955 for Carolyn Bryant. This document had been hidden and tucked away, but it has finally been uncovered. Who is Carolyn Bryant? She caused the tragic, horrific torture and death of 14-year-old Emmett Till. In 1955, Carolyn claimed that Emmett, who was a 14-year-old black boy, groped her, whistled at her, and made sexual advances to her being a 21-year-old white woman. A cousin who was there at the time of this said Emmett only whistled at her, nothing more. So in response, Carolyn had her husband and his half-brother kidnapped Emmett from his home, brutally tortured him, murdered him, and threw his body with weights into a river. Both men were acquitted of this crime. None of them ever served any time at all. Yet they had admitted, yes, they had done this in a magazine interview years later. And Carolyn, who put them up to this, telling them to go kill Emmett, there was a warrant out for her arrest, but police didn't bother with it. And why didn't they bother with it? Because they said Carolyn had 2 young children at home and they didn't want to bother her. So none of these people ever paid for the death of this 14-year-old boy. Well, now, Emmett Till's relatives are wanting that warrant to still be good. They want Carolyn Bryant to serve time for her horrific crime, after it's been nearly 70 years since the crime was committed. Carolyn is now well into her 80s and living in North Carolina, now going by Carolyn Donham. Emmett's cousin Deborah and her daughter Terry want justice to be served. Warrants can expire, but they're pushing to find a judge that'll still count it as true. What do you think about all of this? After 70 years, should Carolyn still be serving time so that somebody is finally held accountable for what happened to this child?
Yeah,
Let me
we
put
can hunt
things out
Nazis. Yeah.
first for you all. Recently, a damn near 100-year-old Nazi soldier was tried, convicted, and sentenced and carted off to jail. There may be a limitation on a warrant, but it can be reissued because there's no statute of limitation on murder.
Yeah, the guy, that concentration guard is 101. You got what, 5 years?
Mm-hmm. And my thing
So
is, here's the conversation that needs to be had. Why do people in their mind equate the Holocaust to have happened yesterday and never forget? Don't ever forget. Let's keep prosecuting them. But they act
right,
like atrocities against Black people was hundreds of years ago. And we should get over our trauma. We shouldn't do that. Oh, they're old now. They shouldn't do. They're the same group of white people.
right,
If you're against racism on one side, you should be against racism on the other side. That's what I don't get.
right.
Because people are fervently anti-racist when it comes to the Holocaust and Jewish people.
Right.
And y'all don't take this the wrong way. I am an avid ally. I support my Jewish brothers and sisters. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to the white people who make a difference, why is it we have to stop prosecuting? There's still a fully functional plantation within the United States right now.
And it goes
California, for the third time in 4 years, had to give back land that they stole from Black people. Because at this point, Central Park needs to be shut down, leveled off, and given back to the descendants of Seneca.
we can talk
Because if you
about
look at the history
we-
of Central Park, it started off as Seneca, a Black area. There are 5 Black cities that are currently turned into lakes and are underwater. And when they broke the dams, they didn't even care if Black people got out.
like I said, there. It goes back to the history, like we said, of what they want to teach the next generation about the past and how they want to put diet history based on what they want to tell. European history, World War II. If they look at it that American history is something that they want to dictate what they want to teach, or what part of history they're willing to disclose, then it's not full history. If we're willing to talk about all of World War II and everything that happened on the European campaign and over in the Japanese campaign, then we have to be honest with teaching what really happened.
And U.S. citizens, while you're taking this high and mighty approach to looking at Hitler, keep in mind that Hitler got his blueprint from the Jim Crow laws within the United States. During the same time that Jewish people were hauled off to concentration camps, the United States had their own camps over here for Asian Americans. Nobody bat an eye at the originator doing what they were doing, but everybody condemns Germany and the Nazis. But simultaneously, because, and I realized a long time ago, United States citizens have a unique way of separating things that happen simultaneously together, and they'll separate it and put it in different decades and different times. No, it happened all together. While Jewish people were being stuffed into train cars and taken off to concentration camps, Asian Americans within the United States, where Hitler got the blueprint from, were being put in camps. What do you mean? What do I mean? I thought I explained it. Hitler and the Nazis, the SS, their blueprint for what they did came from the United States, specifically Black codes, blockbustering, redlining, ghettos, Jim Crow. It's admitted, it's documented. And at the same time that Jewish people were taken to concentration camps to be put to death, in the United States, they were interring Asian people into camps. Only difference is in the United States, they didn't kill them. But while everybody was pissed off that Nazi was putting people in camps, nobody batted an eye at the fact that the United States was putting people in camps, because they expect this country to be racist. They expect this country to not have equity ever. But Let's brighten the mood a little bit, kind of, sort of, maybe. We have a Brittany Griner update. Let me know. Coming from CBS News, WNBA star Brittany Griner appears in Russian court criminal trial set for July 1st. More than 4 months after she was arrested at a Moscow airport for cannabis possession, a Russian court has set the start date of the criminal trial of U.S. basketball star Brittany Griner for July 1st. The Phoenix Mercury star was also ordered to remain in custody for the duration of her criminal trial. She could face 10 years in prison if convicted on charges of large-scale transportation of drugs. What? She had a handful of cartridges that she got into the country with. Fewer than 1% of defendants in Russian criminal cases are acquitted, and unlike in the United States, acquittals can be overturned. Well, no, shit, we know that they have a dictator over there. His name is Putin. But also, let's not remember, this means that our government fumbled the ball, because our last update that we had on her said that we were going to do a prisoner swap to get her out of there.
Right.
Now they're letting her go to trial.
Now, what happened to that? I haven't heard anything about the swap.
Because we previously swapped a prisoner of war for another prisoner of war. And that prisoner of war is now making all the rounds on the talk show circuit, hating on Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, I could have been let out early, but you decided to have them vote again in the same day, and I had to be there for more hours. Why can't y'all just go do the swap and get Brittany out of there? You know she didn't do anything illegal, and she is a black gay woman in Russia. That is basically a death sentence. Like, I'm happy that she has been able to stay alive this long. But this is Russia.
Right. This is their card that they're playing. This is their upper hand. And they're calling out the US. You know, they want an offer. They want to, let's make a deal, because otherwise they're going to hang on to her. It's Russia. Why are they just going to, they're not handing somebody over for out of the good of their heart.
And this is why I say to every professional sports team, I understand that, you know, some sports in the United States get more coverage than others, but coaches, GMs, owners, do your due diligence and realize who you have on your teams before you agree to certain tournaments because it lines your pocket. These are human beings' lives that you are playing with. Understand where certain people are not welcome in the world, and they will find anything to put some cuffs on us. Heck, I got accosted by airport security one time because I was having a sneezing fit. Somebody walked past me and their perfume or cologne just caught hold of my allergies and I couldn't stop sneezing. Airport security told me, oh, we thought you were sending a signal to somebody. What?
What? I haven't heard that one.
Like, I pulled a whole packet of Kleenex out of my purse because I'm sneezing and sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. And you know, after you sneeze so much, mucus starts to come out. You don't want to be in public with your nose running. But in more hypocritical news, oh, you're going to like this one.
Yes.
This is coming from CBSSports.com. Colin Kaepernick's agent fires back after Hall of Famer claims QB's workout with Raiders was a disaster. Colin Kaepernick's agent, Jeff Nally, had to go into damage control mode over the weekend after Warren Sapp made some comments suggesting that the quarterback had an ugly workout with the Raiders last month. During an interview with Vlad TV last week, first of all, don't take anybody seriously that's going on Vlad TV. Sapp claimed that he heard that Kaepernick's May 25th workout with the Raiders was embarrassingly bad. I heard it was a disaster, Sapp said. I heard it was one of the worst workouts ever. According to Sapp, the workout was so ugly that he was surprised that a tape of the session didn't leak out. Warren Sapp, you a damn hater. Because if you're in the know and you're really a fan of football, especially the NFL, Colin Kaepernick never stopped his regular workouts. He's had buddies of his come and still tackle him and still go through calisthenics. You a hater. Warren, I remember the circumstances regarding you having to retire.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, what's the gain from putting out something that, number one, has nothing to do with him, has something to do with somebody that I would hope would encourage to get a shot or to at least get a good look at. Um, to put something out there that's only going to feed into all those people that are just waiting for another failure of Colin in their eyes.
And my thing is, Warren Sapp, you really didn't retire under your own recognizance. Boy, your age caught up with you real quick. You started to suck, but you wanted to go out on a high note.
Mhm.
Sit down, shut up, and actually, nobody even wants to hear you commentate, Warren.
Yeah,
You're not even good at that. Can you leave our sport alone?
right.
Go take up ceramics or knitting or you know what? I'll teach you how to knit or crochet because that's what you need to be doing right about now, Warren. Or go be the spokesperson for IHOP because word on the street is you love some pancakes. Go over there.
I'd be like, that was the worst crochet session I've ever seen from Warren Sapp.
True. Okay. This video, I had to throw this in here. So, if you're from the generation of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers,
Oh boy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I had to endure this, so y'all gonna endure this, and we're gonna get you up to date. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Here we go.
So let's talk about the tragic history behind the original Mighty Morphin Blue Ranger. So in 1993, David Yost is cast as Billy Cranston. He's like the lovable nerdy dude, he makes a lot of their gadgets, he made the communicators that the Power Rangers use. And even though in its time Power Rangers was a smash hit, a lot of stuff was happening to the cast behind the scenes which makes you really look twice at the show. When he was written off the show in Power Rangers Zeo, a lot of fans speculated that this was due to a pay dispute, but David Yost actually opened up about the real reason, which is actually a bit more horrific. As the series and Billy Cranston gained popularity, David felt it was best to keep his sexuality a secret. He went on to say, in the 90s, to be an actor, it was still considered taboo to be gay, especially if you wanted to be a leading actor in TV series or film. People on the production would harass and make fun of Billy for not having a girlfriend after all the years he was on set. They would also hound him with questions of why didn't he have a girlfriend after all this time. David also went on to say there were comments at work that were being made of me in terms of being gay or being a bleep. And as time went on, it just got old and I was tired of listening to it. People always questioned me, why don't you have a girlfriend? And all the numerous rumors that went along with that. Making the best decision possible, David Yost decided to leave the show. The crew's constant bullying and harassment led Yost to a breaking point. He did say, okay, I need to leave because if I stay, I'm going to end up unaliving myself. This part is what really gets me. The bullying and harassment he received from the show was so severe that he didn't feel it was just necessary to leave the show. He felt it was necessary to check himself into conversion therapy. David goes on to say, when I was doing conversion therapy, I could literally feel a shift in my body. It felt like I was going against my natural state. I could feel an intentional struggle going on within my body and my mind.
Jesus.
And this is why I say no member of the LGBTQIA plus community has ever had a conversion camp, is ever going to come up to your door and go, hey, have you heard the flamboyant word? It's not going to happen. And the fact that this young man felt that he needed to convert himself, as if it's just like this. If you like chocolate ice cream, it doesn't matter what other flavors people present to you. If your favorite is chocolate ice cream, that's what you're going to like. If your favorite is butter pecan, it does not matter what anybody else is going to present to you. You may like it. And you're like, if I have no other choice, I'll take this other flavor. But this is what I love. And for those of y'all out there that go, well, it's a choice. God doesn't make mistakes. If God didn't make mistakes, why am I sitting here allergic to the world, asthmatic, and wearing glasses? And if God didn't make any mistakes, y'all quit going to go get those BBL surgeries, quit getting tummy tucks, quit dyeing your hair, quit painting your nails, because if God was perfect in everything, them chin hairs that you get, be proud of them. That gray hair that started growing in the 5th grade, be proud of it. Your erectile dysfunction, God's will. And y'all need to ask God why some of us can't hear, can't see, are born with cancer and everything else. And I am not, and y'all got Taz, your father is a pastor. Okay. God gave you free will, which means any and everything can happen to you. Look what he did to Job. And I'm sorry. God himself wasn't perfect. He picked an imperfect couple to bring his child into this world. He picked imperfect people to abort his child as a grown man. God never said that we were going to be perfect upon this earth or that he put us together perfectly. The only thing he said is that we had free will to choose him or not.
Right. Just like he had people out there that follow him that also followed Mr. Ketchup Man.
And speaking of Mr. Ketchup Man, well, we're going to get to him in a minute.
Yeah.
We got a bigger fish to fry right now.
Which is not Darth Vader, which, just let everybody know, this is a Star Wars evening.
Yeah, but I had to go back onto a website that I don't like to go onto, but got to be honest with y'all and have full disclosure. Because this is a hot topic and this has to do with people's safety and sexual harassment. Coming from Brown's Digest.
They're going to tell us he went back on whatever truth.
NFL informed Deshaun Watson it was recommending an indefinite suspension. According to a report, the NFL has told Deshaun Watson and the NFLPA that they will be pushing for an indefinite suspension because they can't get their money back. When you do a guaranteed contract before you do a background check, that's why they can only suspend him because they can't collect because they guaranteed it. They thought they was the NBA for a minute.
That's a place called The Land. The place that they call The Land.
It was recently reported that the NFL was pushing for an indefinite suspension for Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson. Now, according to a report, the league has informed Watson, NFLPA, and the disciplinary officer that they recommend a year-long suspension. Disciplinary officer Sue L. Robinson will hand down the initial punishment to Watson. The hearing is set to begin on Tuesday, and there is no timetable for how long it could take to reach a decision. The NFL or NFLPA do not agree with the decision that Robinson submits, that they can appeal it to League Commissioner Roger Goodell. Oh, Lord. Who will have the final say in all of it. Why have a tribunal if y'all just gonna give Goodell the final? You know what? Never mind. Though Watson has been accused of sexual misconduct by upwards of 30 massage therapists, he continues to voice that he is innocent. Watson settled 20 of 24 accusers who filed a lawsuit. The other 4 remain unsettled and could take court decision. Browns will know by training camp who their quarterback will be this season and for how long. If Watson misses a whole year, things could get interesting. If Watson misses just several games, it will be Jacoby Brissett under center.
How about that? Take that, Cleveland. You want your guarantee, man? You can't even guarantee he's going to be on the field.
Cleveland. And my thing is, and this is what pisses me off about the NFL. They put up all these committees and go like, oh, they have to go through this committee and go. But everything starts and stops with Roger Goodell. And I'm like, stop wasting people's times. Stop wasting our ticket money. Stop wasting our concessions money.
But I don't get why it goes through him. He's hired by the owners.
Exactly. It's like if you're waiting on him to make a decision, just let him make a decision.
He can be as neutral as he wants, but on certain decisions,
he is beholden to the owner.
He's not. Yeah, he can be replaced. He's not.
Because look at his predecessor. and why his predecessor was kind of forced into retirement. He got to the point where he's like, I'm not going along with y'all. They didn't like that.
Right.
So of course Roger Goodell is going to be like, yeah, let Deshaun play.
And
It's
we
just locker
and we
room
know
talk.
the NFL is the one league that we always have owner issues with, and there's a reason why. Because just look at them. So yes, they are not the NBA. They are not even Major League Baseball. It is the NFL. And not everyone can be the Cincy Bengals.
My table.
Not everyone can be Joe Burrow.
Joe.
That's right.
1 minute. Speaking. Where's it at? Ah, here we go. What was I? Where did? Okay. All of a sudden, my controls don't want to work. There we go. Speaking of Joe Burrow, let's take a look at what he had to say. For those that can't see it,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me see if I can blow this up.
My eyes aren't that young. All right now. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to read the whole thing for everybody. I'm not pro murdering babies. I'm pro Becky, who found out at her 20-week anatomy scan that the infant she has so excited to bring into this world had developed without sustaining or life-sustaining organs. I'm pro Susan, who was sexually assaulted on her way home from work, only to come to the horrific realization that her assailant planted his seed in her when she got a positive pregnancy test result a month later. I'm pro Teresa, who hemorrhaged due to a placental abruption, causing her parents, spouse, and children to have to make the impossible decision on whether to save her or her unborn child. First of all, that is not impossible. I'm not about to save somebody I ain't never met over somebody who has responsibilities, but I digress. I'm pro little Kathy, who had her innocence ripped away from her by someone she should have been able to trust, and her 11-year-old body isn't mature enough to bear the consequences of that betrayal. And this is why we stand Joe, because it's real. And people who say, well, I don't agree with abortion. What are you not agreeing with? Are you not agreeing with the fact that you didn't pay attention in biology class or anatomy and physiology?
I bet there were less people. I bet there were less people coming out and telling Joe to shut up and throw the ball because of
Yeah,
his
and my
skin
thing
color.
is, go, well, I'm pro-life. I don't agree with abortion. Why? Do you not understand how a woman's body works? Do you not understand what can happen in a woman's body? Do you understand all of the things that can happen that are encapsulated in the medical term abortion? A miscarriage is considered a spontaneous abortion. An ectopic pregnancy has to have the baby expelled from your body. Medically, that is an abortion. A child, a baby, I'm sorry, because it's not a child, a fetus that begins to develop its organs on the outside instead of the inside is not a viable fetus and will kill the mother. So to dispel it from the body, medically considered an abortion. And it's like, y'all need to go back and be retaught biology and anatomy and physiology, because there's no disagreement here. And you cannot say, oh, my religion, bullshtickety. There is not a religion out here that is against abortion. There are pastors and church members and synagogue members that are against it. There's nothing in your text as a religious person that says they're anti-abortion.
Oh, I love the fact that some of them are out there talking about it's a moral issue. What about everything else in this world?
First of all, for the people who are like, well, abortion isn't included in the Constitution, because nobody gave a damn about women back then. Abortion was considered women's business. It was free, available, nobody gave a crap. Y'all want to know when people started giving a crap? When the Protestant umbrella of religions in the United States was vying for who was the moral superior. And then they were like, oh, because before then, the Roman Catholic Church had guidelines for, oh, it's acceptable to abort a male fetus now. It's acceptable to abort a female fetus during this time frame. They had rules for it. Hell, in the Bible, there's a recipe for abortion. In the Bible, you faux Christians, it also says that the punishment for a cheating wife is what? And if a husband were to cheat and get someone pregnant, what is the punishment? So it's like, just stop. Let it go back to just being women issues.
Or how about it's their issue that it represents to some people, not those that are claiming to be Christians, that it's a liberal thing. So it's the right against the left.
Oh no, that's a dog whistle and a damn lie. There are white people that are afraid because of projections that they are about to become the minority, even though they say they treat us minorities so good. Why would we there? Because they're willing to turn white women into incubators because they could care less if I ever procreate again. They would willingly sterilize my black ass. They want white women to become incubators. But this is what they're forgetting. Every white woman does not procreate with a white man.
Mm-hmm.
And
but they still want Gilead.
And here's the thing. On top of that, it is a clash of the religions as to I'm morally superior to you. I'm morally superior to you. But what happens when these children are born? Because they're cutting the funding, ridiculing people for having multiple children, going, well, why can't you take care of them? Because you won't regulate a federally mandated minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
You are wanting to take what they call entitlement programs out, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, that you have to pay into in your taxes. That's not an entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
People get made fun of and called ghetto queens and everything else when they get food stamps, SNAP, WIC for their children. So how are these children supposed to be sustained? They don't care about life. They care about you forcing people to be born. And they want those people to be so bitter that they'll become racist and narcissistic and easy to grift because they're going to be undereducated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking about all the real deaths they're going to create from those that obviously can't afford to travel, can't afford to get assistance, can't afford to do all these things. And yeah, they're talking about, there's going to be certain jobs that are going to help with transportation. I'm not all about relying on the fact that there's companies out there that are going to continually do this stuff, because we've seen them go backwards on things in the past. So I'm looking at those that are going to be in situations of dire straits where the only way out they think is by taking their life. And that's going to increase because it has when it comes to restricting access to things that they might be able to afford on some level. Once that's taken away, they're in dire straits.
I see why you would have that perspective, but let me tell you what the truth of the matter will be. Because women are conditioned from birth that we are supposed to be mothers, that our worth is amongst mothers. So even if there's an unwanted pregnancy, we will make it do what it do, regardless of our stress, regardless of our mental collapse, regardless of the toxicity that may come out of us, because we're also conditioned that we shouldn't seek mental health. We shouldn't be tired. We shouldn't be we should just be superhuman. What's going to happen? Women are going to die, but women aren't going to die by their own hands. Any person in the United States with a uterus, they're more than likely not going to die by their own hands. They're going to die because that boyfriend that didn't tell them that they're married is like, oh, shoot, You're pregnant. We can't go get an abortion anywhere. Like, I can't even legally fly you out of the country because they're going to check to see. He's going to kill that woman. That father that's been molesting his daughter for years and already had her get 2 or 3 abortions, fuck her mental health. He's going to kill her because he doesn't want his secret to get out. Because I promise you, he's a deacon, an associate pastor, president of the usher board, president of the HOA. He doesn't want to let that go. A lot of these politicians who've been sleeping with each other or got things going on the side. Yeah. Just like the infamous case of the one young lady who was working on Capitol Hill. It ended up having an affair with the senator. Anybody around in the late 80s, early 90s knows this story. And her body was found in a DC park, few yards from her apartment. Because even before there was an abortion ban, these men don't want their secrets to come out. That's why the former mayor of Michigan was removed from office, because he willingly was having an affair. And when his mistress was like, oh, wait, I didn't know you was married. Like, I don't follow politics like that. I need to break it off. This man had been secretly taking nude pictures of her during their encounters and said, if you tell anybody, I will expose you. And if that didn't work, what do y'all think he would have done to her? It won't be women taking their own lives. Will women die because of faulty abortions like they used to do before? Will women be searching the internet and not get a complete recipe or not understand how certain teas work and end up doing more harm than good? Yes. And then women, because they're now criminalizing women having miscarriages and going to the hospital, these women won't go to the hospital. They'll bleed out and die at home. But the vast majority will be at the hand of these men that are lying to women to get their rocks off.
Epstein's.
Maxwell's and Epstein's. Oh, we got one more breaking news update. I almost forgot about this one. Sorry, y'all. But coming from the Associated Press, January 6th committee subpoenas Pat Cipollone, former White House counsel. Yes, a former White House counsel for President Trump has now been subpoenaed into these hearings. The testimony that is coming out, baby, I will update you all, but I do need to warn you all and give you all this caveat. Tomorrow's show will be pre-recorded. I will have it air at the normal time, but tomorrow I do have a Black Achievers event with my older brother. If you follow me on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, I will do my best to have updated posts and videos so you can see what we're currently working on and how the think tank works without breaking any rules. But yeah.
Will there be a recording of Urbane too?
No, Urbane. Okay.
Sir Puppers.
Well, Urbane, aka Sir Puppers, the other day went to a huge dog park near us. Now, if you know anything about my dog, he's bougie. Like, he has fluffy blankets, fluffy pillows. He does not sleep on the floor. If he's going to lay on the floor, he goes to get one of his fluffy pillows and he'll lay on that. Like, he doesn't like to be naked. He has to be dressed. He's still mad that his shoes are on back order. He has a whole water bottle with like a bowl attached to it. He has a whole puppy bag. But I say this so y'all understand what I'm about to say. So at the new dog park, he got bullied and wanted to come home. But then he decided, after being home for a little bit, he wanted to go back to the dog park. Like, I can do this. Now, the dog who bullied him was gone. But my dog can't fight. My dog he bougie.
He's a spastic brat. Yeah.
Like earlier today, he brought his little fluffy pillow down, got his fluffy blanket. He made his own pallet on the floor and laid on it because Chris knows this. My house is pretty much carpet, but there are odd places where there's tile outside of the kitchen and the bathrooms. There's like odd places in front of like entry doors that there's tile. So tile gets cooler. He'll lay on the tile for a little bit, but then yeah, like he has a pup tent upstairs with the bed in it. He has a crate downstairs because we did have to officially get a crate for him because Chris, he's been in pup tents since he's been here. And he's got a floofy bed and
But no, he wants full tile. We want tile.
Yeah, he has a whole toy box. And every morning I let him pick the toys that he wants out of it. And then midday, he decides he wants a different toy. And I'm like, no, that means you got to put another toy back in this box. We not about to do this.
That sounded like time with the tiny humans.
Exactly. I went from being bullied by my children to the tiny humans to Urbane. Wait a minute.
And still the tiny humans.
No, it was my children, the tiny humans, my nephew BK, then Urbane. Because BK
the
bullied
tiny humans are still tiny.
But my nephew BK bullied me all through an amusement park.
Okay, so all this comes back around to you.
I'm a punk. I know. That's why I was making Cinnamon Toast Crunch donuts the other day.
Fries and chicken tenders or chicken nuggets aren't going to do it. Once spoiled, it's hard to break.
And now we moved into the Dino Nuggies phase.
Yeah. Okay. Well, glad we gave everybody.
It's different. I'm trying to tell you.
Glad we gave everybody the update on Sir Puppers, because he used to be King Pout, because he used to be able to pout with the best of them.
That started on its own.
What?
Okay. Well, we got 3 clips real quick. Let's go through this.
No merch break.
Oh, you guys. Somebody spammed my website, so I have to do some repairs on the website.
Okay.
And change some coding. So even though I put up new merch and expanded the line because now they're allowing me to offer notebooks and stuff like that. If you go into Tazism.com, it's not going to come up. I'm pretty sure I know who spammed it. But I got to fix things on the back end. But pay attention to this next clip.
Start talking about colonoscopies, and things just go downhill from there. I swear we did not edit this. This really happened today, because this is what today is like in the news.
You mentioned the risk of colonoscopy. Can that be done by drugs?
Mr. Chairman, Representative Barbieri, it can not be done by drugs. It can, however, be done remotely, where you swallow a pill, and this pill has a little camera, and it makes its way through your intestines, and those images are uploaded to a doctor who's often thousands of miles away, who then interprets that.
Follow up, Mr. Chairman. Barbieri. Can this same procedure then be done in a pregnancy? Swallowing a camera and helping the doctor determine what the situation is with the...
Mr. Chairman and Representative, it cannot be done in pregnancy simply because when you swallow a pill, it would not end up in the vagina.
Fascinating.
This is why I say certain men should not be in charge of anything. Like, if we swallow something, it goes to our stomach. The amount of men that think that our stomach and our uterus is the same thing is astronomical.
I think your puppers even knows that much.
And my thing is, I'm like...
Really?
My thing is, I'm like, our cycle will tell you if we're pregnant or not. Like, now, sometimes it can be delayed. Sometimes it can be quick. Because depending on your stress level, your diet, how much water you drink, things change. I know women who actually, there were young ladies that I was in college with that if we had a major like dissertation or project due or it was exam week, they did not have a cycle. They were so stressed. They didn't have a cycle. And they were not sexually active, but because they had uneducated parents. And I was like, did you forget what we learned in class? They would keep spending their money instead of going to get food to sustain themselves, to get pregnancy tests. And I'm like, girl, how you pregnant? Ain't nobody touched you. The closest you got to a man was watching somebody in a rom-com on Hallmark Channel. Why?
Oh, the thief in the night.
And my thing is, women also don't get pregnant in their colons. But I digress. Let's go on to the next one. Here we go.
Make sure that when a kid is in the womb, they're as safe as they are in a classroom.
That definitely sounds like Marjorie and the Boberts and all them.
So they're anti-abortion, but they gonna keep in vitro fetuses as safe as they can give fully born children. So you're just saying we can just, their argument is like, we don't want to kill kids. Yes, you do. Okay. Okay, Chris is frozen. We got one more.
The most compelling when she quotes Mark Meadows saying, Pat, you heard the president. He doesn't care. He thinks Mike deserves it. He doesn't think they're doing anything wrong as far as they're literally calling for the vice president to be hung. And then Pat Cipollone says, this is effing crazy, according to Hutchinson. This testimony was very compelling from beginning to end. She obviously had access to all of the players. We are now hearing from the former president on various posts where he questions her accuracy. He goes after her directly, says he doesn't know who she is, and said he didn't lunge at the Secret Service agent in the Beast. That didn't happen. He says he didn't throw his lunch against the wall. That didn't happen, and that she's lying. Cassidy Hutchinson is under oath on Capitol Hill. The president is on Truth Social, making his statements. What was so compelling, I think, is how it was laid out. We always point out that there's not a pushback, and it would have been great to hear Jim Jordan or some congressman say some other angle to this. But the testimony in and of itself is really, really powerful. Sandra, could you still hear?
Indeed, yes, I am here.
They finally decided to talk about January 6th on Fox News. And it's obvious that everyone did not get the memo. Because there were too many people at Fox News that Trump involved. But, you know, it is what it is. And to my child in the comment section talking about they betrayed me. Wait a minute. Oh, I know what you mean. All right. Thank you, lovely. But, yeah. Unfortunately, Chris towards the end had some connectivity issues, but we're at the end of the show. Keep in mind, tomorrow's show will be pre-recorded, so I will not be able to answer your questions in real time. But make sure you click the links in my bio, get a load of the blog, and make sure you follow me, especially after tonight, because I am terrorizing all of TikTok right now. Well, all of white woman tears TikTok right now. So I'll put up updates tomorrow. And Saturday, we're going to go into a movie series that I think is pertinent to what is going on right now. And of course, we're going to have Freeform Fridays. So if you have any blind reacts that you want to send me, send it to the email that's linked in my bio, asktaz77@gmail.com, or hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. Just make sure at the very top you put blind react. Don't have me looking through stuff and then at the very bottom you're like blind react. I can't put it on the show because I'm going to keep everything authentic. Each one teach one, each one reach one. Till next time.